Hi, this is Stephen from Owner Disown, and by popular demand, we're going to do a real torture test on this MSI GT62VR. For game tests, we're going to do 4 games at 3440 by 1440p with the lid open and lid closed, see what the temperature of the GPU and the CPU is, and we're going to do one synthetic game benchmark, the Heaven benchmark, and that's at 2560 by 1440p. And then we're going to push it even further by running the AIDA64 stress test, stressing the CPU and the GPU. And finally, the ultimate torture test, running Prime 95 together with Furmark, both with the lid closed. So, let's take a look. So here we test a series of games at 3440 by 1440p. Note that the Heaven synthetic benchmark was at the 2560 by 1440. Our objective was to compare the frames per second with the lid open on the MSI and with the lid closed. These average frames per second are represented by the orange and the purple bars. We had actually also tested 2 games on the Alienware 15R3. This is represented by the green bar, the average frames per second there, and that was tested on Metro Last Light and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The red bar represents the minimum frames per second on the MSI. So, comparing the orange and the purple bars, which are the lid open and lid closed on the MSI, not much difference at all, if any. So that is fantastic. It's interesting to see that the Alienware did beat the MSI in the 2 games I tested. Metro Last Light was about 3% improvement, and Assassin's Creed went from 25 to 30, so that's 20%. But bear in mind, that was like an oven. So, what were the temperatures of the CPU and the GPU when the lid was open and closed? The CPU is represented with the orange and the red, orange being with the lid open and the red being with the lid closed, and the GPU is represented by the green and purple, green being the lid open and purple being the lid closed. So let's compare the orange and the red, which is the CPU open and closed. There's hardly any difference at all. In Assassin's Creed, we saw 2 degrees difference there, and in Rainbow Six Siege, we saw the same 2 degrees. The rest were the same. Looking at the temperatures on the GPU, which are represented by the green and the purple, green being the lid open, purple with the lid closed. It's a similar story here. Temperatures were pretty much identical. There was a couple of degrees difference in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. That's about it. Other than that, the same, and the temperatures were great. So next, we really wanted to push this laptop with the lid closed to see what temperatures it would get to. So first we did the AIDA64 stress test. It basically stresses practically everything. And then finally we went to the extreme level of running Prime 95 and Furmark simultaneously. So let's take a look at the results. So first up, looking at the CPU temperatures, both the AIDA64 test and the Prime 95 with the Furmark did stress this CPU. Temperatures still though remained below the 90-degree mark. However, we did see some CPU throttling, and in fact on the Prime 95 Furmark combination, the CPU throttled down to 2800 MHz. But those temperatures are good. Taking a look at the GPU temperatures, the AIDA64 test didn't stress the GPU that much, reaching 60 degrees, whilst the Prime 95 Furmark combination whacked it up to 80. Hey, but still, that's acceptable. I like it. So the temperatures on the MSI GT62VR were fantastic. Even pushing it to the max using the Prime 95 and Furmark, it remained below 90 degrees, both for the CPU and GPU, so we can't complain at that at all. I saw no difference at all between having the lid open and lid closed, so if you want the lid closed, perhaps next to your TV set, that's it's fine. Just go ahead and do that. I also saw very minimal frames per second hit by switching from the lid being open to the lid closed. So to conclude, I think the MSI GT62VR is a very cool, powerful running laptop. I like it, I really do. You can attach it to an external monitor, have the lid closed, and don't take any performance hit or don't need to worry about any extreme temperatures. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thanks for watching and see you next time.